Good evening to you, Simon. So, Donald Trump's tax returns, this has been an ongoing debate for years. Everyone's wanted to see them. Now the New York Times seems to have gained access somehow. I'm wondering how they got that, whether these tax returns are verified, and what do they tell us?
Well, so the New York Times has indeed, Sally, received 20 years of Donald Trump's tax returns and other financial documents. They will not disclose the source for those materials, although they say that it is someone who was legally entitled to have access to them. They're not publishing the documents themselves because they say doing so would jeopardize the source that provided the tax returns to them. Perhaps the tax returns have a stamp of some kind on them that would lead people to understand where they had come from. But it's not just the provenance of the documents that is making news here, but the information they contain. And it is a devastating bombshell for the White House. President Trump, in the year that he ran for president, paid only $750 in income taxes. That's about 13,000 rand at today's exchange rates. The next year, he paid the same amount of money in income tax, but for 10 of the previous 15 years, he paid not 1 penny in income tax to the United States Treasury. Indeed, he has paid more in tax to the governments of Panama, India, and the Philippines than he's paid to his own country's Internal Revenue Service. And that is a massive problem for the White House to try and explain. These documents also demonstrate that President Trump is nowhere near as wealthy as he has led people to believe, and certainly nowhere near as successful a businessman as he has claimed, because the way he's managed to evade these tax responsibilities is by claiming massive losses that his various businesses have made, and those losses then get offset against the taxes that otherwise he would have been expected to pay.
Any response from the White House to the New York Times article?
Yeah, it's all fake news, Sally. It's fake news. The New York Times has made it up. This is a hit job by the newspaper aimed at derailing his re-election prospects. But the problem with that position is they've got the documents. They've got 20 years of the president's tax returns. And I think what people find so hard to understand here is why on earth the president himself didn't put these documents into the public domain even 3 years ago. He could have done it 3 months into his presidency. We would all have forgotten them by now. Instead, he's allowed the New York Times, who have got their hands on these documents, to control the narrative, and it has the White House today all at sea. The documents also show, by the way, that President Trump has $421 million in debts that will come due over the next 4 years. How on earth he expects to manage that debt load and simultaneously be President of the United States is very unclear.
Yes, it is very, wow, that's quite a figure. Moving on to the other big topic in the USA, and that, of course, is the new Supreme Court Justice, who that ninth person will be replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We know that this is a huge political hot potato, but what is fascinating about whoever this person is that they could be crucial if we head into post-election disputes, which Donald Trump is already saying is probably going to happen.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, the White House would much rather that we were all talking about the Supreme Court today rather than the tax returns or the other big story that's been making headlines here over the last few hours, an apparent attempt by Donald Trump's recently sidelined campaign manager to commit suicide in Florida. We don't know the details, but we do know that he's in hospital under a mental health order now. The Supreme Court nominee that the president unveiled over the weekend, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, can indeed expect to make her way onto the Supreme Court, because even though the Democrats argue it's much too late in the Trump presidency for the White House to be trying to replace Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Republicans have got the votes on Capitol Hill to do this. So barring surprises and controversy during her confirmation hearings that we can't currently foresee, they've got the numbers to get her onto the court. And in the event that Donald Trump does contest the outcome of this election, like the the George W. Bush-Al Gore election, it could go to the Supreme Court. He will need as many friends on there as he can get, which is one of the reasons why he's trying to jam this through so quickly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon Marks in Washington.